Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to my lesson for today, where we are going to be looking at your mathematics. So guys, I am going to randomly select the questions from this past paper. So I think you can take some screenshots when necessary so that it forms part of your notes. Remember guys, today we are just going to be doing a revision on those problems that you need to make sure that you master, and in case if it comes in exam, you make sure that you obtain all the marks. Tomorrow, we might be starting something completely new. So all of this, it's in preparation for your May, June examinations. So the main aim is to make sure that during examinations, you are not under pressure, but you focus mainly on those topics which may be difficult or which may be tricky. Problems similar to this, we don't worry that much about those. There is the next question that I'm going to be selecting from. You can quickly take a screenshot. And then we've got another one there. These are the types of exam problems that you might need to expect, especially where you need to solve for the unknown, of which in most cases you might be solving for X. There is another one followed by a number pattern, sequence, and series, which is not what we are going to be focusing on in today's lesson. There is another one where you might need to take a screenshot, honorable members. Remember, guys, the main aim is to make sure that I randomly select questions and then I guide you in terms of how you interpret the given problem and what is it that is expected of you and how to deal decisively with those problems. There's another question which I'm also going to select from. And there is the last one, honorable member. So in 3, 2, 1, that was the last screenshot. So honorable members and members who are honorable, I'm just going to be doing everything on my whiteboard over there. So just rewrite the question there, then we deal with it decisively. So now you do know very well where the questions that I'm going to be writing will be coming from. So before I start with the business of the day, let me just quickly confirm for the last time if everything is clear. So let's see, guys, you do confirm that everything is clear, ne?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good, good at best. Yes, very quickly. What is it, honorable member?
Nothing, sir. Just sing it, sir. We'll sing it, sir.
Okay. Then it's fine. Let me say no there. I was surprised that I haven't started with SONA. I'm not sure if you guys know what SONA is, but SONA is what is it? State of the National Address. Yes, SONA. Yeah. Just started on the podium, and then now when I'm about to deliver the State of the National Address, someone says on a point of order. I was surprised. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our very first question is going to be this one, where they say, this is from that first question paper, where you have 2x, where we minus 3, we close, and then we've got x, that you plus it with 7, and this is being equated to 0. And this question, honorable members, it was allocated 2 marks. Okay, first thing first, remember guys, in mathematics, you have mainly 2 things. What are those? An equation or an expression. How do you know if you've got an equation? That's if you see an equal sign. Every time when you see an equal sign, it means you have an equation. What do you do when you have an equation? You solve. What is it that you are solving? We always solve for the unknown, honorable members, in mathematics. What is an unknown? An unknown is always represented by a letter, which could be any letter from A all the way up to Z. So for this problem, like Unkulunkulu Lebandla, they said the letter that you must solve, it is letter X. Sometimes it could be Y, sometimes it could be both X and Y. In some other instances, you might be solving for D, which may represent something else. So that's what you need to know, honorable members. But most importantly, you do need to be aware that you could be solving two types of problems, which could be what we refer to as a linear equation or a quadratic equation. What you need to know is that when it comes to a linear, you will always have only one possible answer. For example, X is equals to whatever. But when it comes to quadratic, you will always have two possible answers. For example, you say X is equals to whatever, or X is equals to whatever. The moment you have two possible answers, it means you are dealing with a quadratic equation. That's what you need to be aware of, honorable members. And then the other type of a problem that you might come across is an expression. How do you know if you are dealing with an expression? It's going to be easier because I've explained how you know if you are dealing with an equation. With an expression, it's anything that do not have an equal sign. For as long as it doesn't have an equal sign, it means it's an expression. What do you do when you have an expression? You simplify. That's all. You have an expression. What do? You simplify. What does simplify mean? The word simplify simply means make it simple. So an assumption is that when you are given an expression, you're given a lengthy math problem that you need to simplify it into just a smaller, simple thing. That's what we do. So you will learn some more about how to deal with those as we continue. So that was the state of the national address, honorable members. So now let's address the key issues which affect the masses of our people. Remember, guys, here we are in parliament, so there's no time to sleep, honorable members. You can't be in parliament and you are sleeping, whereas we are discussing issues of national importance. Very, very much important, honorable members, on that one. Okay, with you noticing that you are given 2 marks, it means in just 2 steps, you must very quickly deal with this problem. This is what someone is going to do. Someone is going to say that by that, that by that, and then they say that by that by that. Not that you are wrong, but you are going to take forever because you will do that, and at some point, you will come back to exactly that. So in this case, honorable members, you don't do that by that. Why? Because already this thing has been equated to 0. Only if it was not equated to 0, that's when you can do that by that, that by that, that by that, and then you take whatever number to the other side, and then you factorize. But the moment is inside the brackets and it is equated to 0, that means it has already been factorized for you. All that you need to do is just to finalize, and then you secure the marks. That's it, honorable members, on that one. Meaning, you just need to say this 2x minus 3 equated to 0, or that x plus 7 equated to 0, then you solve for x. Obviously, you have that on the other side. You're going to divide by 2, but obviously, all of us by now, we do know very well how to approach that. So that is why I'm very quick on that one, because what you needed to know is that only if it is equated to 0, that means it has been factorized for you already. That's if, for example, you have something similar to that, and this thing is being equated to 0. That means all that you need to do is to say that you equate it to 0, and you say that equals to 0. Then x is equals to -1. What will remind you is the marks allocated to that particular question. So that's it, honorable members, in relation to that one. I'm going to remove all of this. And then from there, we move on to the next question. In case if you've got some questions for me, I will at a later stage give you guys an opportunity to rise on point of orders and ask those questions. But for now, can we please continue? Honorable members or members who are honorable. Maybe let's do a maybe let's do this one for the purpose of you being able to understand the difference between a whatever and whatever. Let's maybe look at this one, honorable members. So remember, guys, this is just a revision. This is just a revision where I need to remind you guys of everything that you need to remember so that you don't do revision when you're supposed to be preparing for exams. So I'm just going to randomly choose any problems that we're going to look at. So let's see. This one, it's allocated 4 marks, honorable members. So now, what type of a maths problem is this? Is it an equation or is it an expression? Okay, when you look at this, you realize you do not have an equal sign. That means this is an expression. What are you supposed to do? You need to simplify. Most importantly, honorable members, always when you have a sign of a plus or a minus, either on the numerator part or at the denominator part, just know you will have to take out something as common factor. Just know, honorable members, just know that one. This is different from when you do not have a sign of equals to, a sign of a plus or a minus. For example, this thing could have been, let's say that plus that times maybe that over. Can you see at the bottom? We can say 3 and then we say plus 3 multiplying, let's say x to the 4 there. So that's what I mean when I say at the bottom you have a sign of a plus or a minus. At the top you have a sign of a plus or a minus. That means you will need to take out something as a common factor. That's how you need to approach this type of question. So let's see what is it that can be taken out as a common factor. Most importantly, we might need to break that and that into 3 to the exponent m multiplying 3 to the exponent positive 4. You just break it where you have the base to the exponent that, same base to the exponent that. You have your minus there, you can still have your 6 there, and then you have your 3 to the exponent m multiplying 3 to the exponent invisible 1, but let me just write it there. So now the whole of this, it is being divided by this one. You can just do that where you also separate that. It seems like what we are doing here, it is just to do a reverse of the laws of exponents. Why do we do a reverse of the laws of exponents? It's because we want to try and take out something as common factor. And I think we can already see that this is common. What makes it a common factor is because on the left side of that sign of a minus and also on the right side of that sign of a minus, it is there. So now we take it out. This is what we do when we say you factorize, taking it out as the. So what remains, you can just write it as it is, honorable members. This is what remains inside. Most importantly, be careful to check if you had to do that by that, just check if it takes you back to that. If it does, then it means you factorized correctly. If it doesn't, then it means kunenkinga. Remember, guys, the main reason why you had to take out something as a common factor, it's because you wanted that, exactly that, to cancel with that. So what you are remaining with, it is 3 to the exponent 4. I can't remember what that is. I'm not sure if it's 64, whatever the case. But you have 3 to the exponent 4 minus that times that. That times that, I know 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 3, it's 18. Let's say minus 18. Whole of that is divided, obviously 7. That is multiplied. That by that, it is 9. So now you can just punch that. You write what that is minus that 18 over 7 times that. You do whatever that it is. And then finally, you get your final answer, honorable members. or members who are honorable. Before I go deeper, let me just check if you guys have got any questions for me. Otherwise, if not, then I'm continuing honorable members or members who are honorable. So let's see, guys, any questions for me? Or are we okay up to this point?
Well, okay, sir.
Still good, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Goodest. Goodest. Okay. So now let's see. I'm now going to move on to the next question. Let me take this one. Someone might need to remember to mute their mics. Asandiswa. It's in most cases where you forgot, where you forget to mute your mic. Just remember to do that, honorable member. Okay, so now this is the one that I say I'm going to take x squared, which is being greater than that, into that, and then plus that. And this one is allocated 4 marks, honorable members. I want to make you guys aware of something very much important. This is what happens, honorable members. In mathematics, we always want to remove the brackets. That's where we want to start. That is why you have BODMAS, which starts with letter B. That B is for brackets, meaning every time when you are given a math problem and you don't know where to start, just check if there are brackets. The brackets are there, that's where you start. You just write everything else as it is. Greater than, then this is where you do da. Then it means you've got 3x plus, what is that times that? I think it's 18. Yes, I think it's 18. Okay, so now what confuses most of you honorable members is not knowing at what stage does that change the direction. Only if you are dividing by a negative value, that's when it changes the sign, only at that stage. But when you transpose, it doesn't change, honorable members. It remains as it is. So now let's see. That would mean with you taking this to the other side and also that to the other side, it doesn't change. But the question now is, what type of a math problem is this? This is what we refer to as a quadratic inequality. So that means every math problem that has greater than, less than, greater is equals to, less is equals to, it's an inequality. So it could be a linear inequality, it could be a quadratic inequality. This one, it is what we refer to as a quadratic inequality. How do you know if you are dealing with a quadratic? That's if you have a letter to the exponent of 2. Can you see there? You have a letter to the exponent of invisible 1, but there you have a letter to the exponent of 2. Then it makes that a quadratic. But if you did not have that and all the letters were to the exponent of invisible 1, then those are linear problems where you are only going to have one final answer. So now that I know this is a quadratic inequality, it means I need to rewrite it in the standard form, where I need to have this thing on the left. Obviously, you take that, it changes the sign, and then you've got that, it changes the sign. That one, it doesn't change, honorable members. It remains as it is. So now, what you need to do, it is to factorize. How are you going to factorize this one, honorable members? Let's see, I think you have x there, you have x there. What two numbers? Let me get my calculator there. What two numbers, when you multiply them together, is it 5 and 3? No, not 5 and 3, but I think 6 and 3. Yes, I think 6 and 3, they are the ones that will end up giving you 18. But remember, bigger number takes the sign of the middle term, meaning it is the 6 that takes the sign of the middle term. And then if there you are having a negative, it means that one becomes positive. Why? So that when you say the gives you negative 18. So can you guys see now you say a critical values. Critical values. You need to write this thing and say critical. What are the critical values? This is the only chance where you are allowed to say, you see that x plus 3, you don't say that to 0, but this is where you are allowed to use equal sign and say equals to 0, then x is equals to negative 3. And then you still have your x minus 6, you say equals to 0, x is equals to a positive 6. That's when you are allowed to use the equal sign, because originally the equal sign was not there. That is why you need to mention and say critical values. Then you are allowed to use equal sign. Why did you have to find the? It's so that you can represent these critical values on your number line, where you say obviously it is the negative number that comes first, and then that comes after. So now, very, very much important, honorable members. If on your original problem, you were given an inequality sign, which could be greater than or less than, you are going to have circles which are not shaded for greater than and for less than. But if it's greater or equals to, you have a circle which is shaded. You will know where that is. Similarly, for that one, you have a circle which is shaded. And you do that circle there. This is where you do the unshaded or the shaded angle. It all depends on the original inequality sign that you were given. And then now I've always known that when you have a greater than there, where you are factorizing, where you factorized, that's where you focus on. If you end up having a greater than there, that's when you have the arrows pointing outwards. But if it was less than there, that's when you would have gotten where you have those circles and then you have the line joining. That's how I've always known it, honorable members. I'm just not so sure about you guys in terms of how you've crammed it or how they taught you in school, but it has worked for me to cram it this way, to say, if there where I factorized, if it's greater than, I've got those arrows pointing outwards, but if it was less than, then it was going to be the circle, and then I just join with a line. So you are not yet done, honorable members. Look at how easy it is. You finally represent your final answer in that format of an inequality, where you see x. Can you guys see this arrow? You just take it exactly as it is, and that arrow, it was for what? It was for negative 3. Or you say x. Can you see this arrow, honorable members? You just take it as it is, and that arrow was for what? It was for 6. Bese uqedile. Maybe let me explain. I will use a different color there. Let me explain if that sign there, it was less than. So what I mean was, you were still going to get your critical values, which were going to be that. Then what I'm saying is, let's say it was less or is equals to, not just less than. So that means you were going to have a circle, which is shaded. Remember, that's if originally you had that from the original problem. That's what I mean. So you were going to have the circles which were shaded. And because when I factorized there, it was less than, and then you join those two. When you represent the answer, this is how it is always represented. It is that one that looks like this, where you just write your negative 3 there and then 6. It's like you are saying that line is between negative 3 and 6. That is the difference between the two, honorable members. I'm pretty much sure that most of you guys, especially those who started with me in December, you do have a better understanding of what I'm talking about there. Might be those who are new who may be wondering in terms of wat gaan aan hierso. But otherwise, it is fine. Let me quickly check with you guys in case if you've got some questions for me on that one. Remember, guys, moving at a faster pace because we have done a lot of these things, and what we are doing now is just a revision. Guys, any questions for me on that one?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, Big Smoke, you have a question, sir.
Big Smoke, yes, go for it.
Oh, sir, like had some cases like drawing that the thing. Sometimes they do.
Okay, Big Smoke, I just wanted to make sure that we are not being disturbed by the background noise. You can go for it, honorable member. What were you saying there?
Oh, okay, sir. Had some cases on this drawing the graph. This yes. Sometimes they will draw like that, the smiley face graph, they say, or like the said one, oh, why?
Okay, makes sense. Just as I think I owe you guys a lesson where I do a full lesson focusing on that. Yeah, so I do get your question, Big Smoke, on that one. I do get your question on that one. But I think let me prepare a full lesson where I explain all of that and not mixing it with this one. But for now, let me just check if this, which is what I've explained, if you are still on the floor, Big Smoke, what I've explained, does it make sense? Not mixing it with that one of the smile or the set shape.
Yes, it does.
Okay, then it's fine. Maybe let's on a separate lesson do a full discussion on that. But for now, let's just make a conclusion to say this is how you can work it out by making use of a number line. Then at a later stage, we'll look at the one where it has a set or a smiling shape. Okay. Then it's fine. I think almost everyone indicated that all is good, goodest. So Big Smoke, you can just mute yourself on your side, then I'll continue on my side. So let's see, honorable members, I'm trying to check for another question which we can look at. Maybe let's look at this one, honorable members. Let's look at this one, which is having some square roots, which says square root, we are having, let's say x, they are minusing 1 there. And then they say plus it with 3, equate that to x. And with you working out that one, we are going to give you 6 marks. So guys, anything that has a square root, like uNkulunkulu lebandla, please make sure that you isolate the square root. Meaning, make sure that you always remain with a square root on the left side of the equal sign, and then anything else, you take it to the other side. That is your main first step. And then what you do next, it is to try and remove that squared over there, honorable members. How do you do that? That means you square both sides, yes. You square both sides. With you doing that, it means you would have removed that square root. So that means on this side you have that, but on the other side you have 2 of the same thing. But now, let me make you guys aware of a common mistake, something that I want you guys to be aware of. In a situation where now you have 2, let's say square root of that, plus 3 equals to x. You need to have that on the left because you wanted to isolate the square root. Let's say that was a plus there. To get to the other side, it becomes a minus. When you introduce a squared on both sides, the biggest mistake that you guys make is to then say you have that 2 years, but now you say x, you minus 1, and then you say you have 2 of that same thing. Be careful, honorable members. Be very, very careful. The laws of exponents recognizes this as an independent base. That as an independent base. Meaning, when you work out this one, this 2, it squares that, it removes it, and then it also squares that. So that means by right, you must be having 2 squared multiplying, and then it's like you're now having that minus that, which is that where you are squaring it. So that means you end up having 4 into x minus 1. Trust me, honorable members, there are many who have done it correctly, but continued with that being 2, of which is not supposed to be 2. I hope you get me on that one, honorable members. So just make sure that you remember that part. So what I would do on my side, honorable members, is to have a list of common or possible mistakes, so that when I study for exams, I do not need to go through these problems and redo them again. I just look at that list of mine and know that, okay, when I do this type of a problem, mistakes associated to this problem is 1, 2, 3. That's how you remind yourself. You don't need to redo it again, because if you redo it, you're still going to redo that mistake and nothing is going to remind you of that mistake. So that is why you need to have a list of common mistakes. And the only way you can make sure that that list of common mistake is within your blood, that's if you teach fellow honorable members. When you teach them, that's when you'll always remember those common mistakes, because they're going to make them and you will forever remind them at all the times. Okay, so now must we begin? We have our x plus 1. So this is where you say double da, double da, double da, double da. So that means you've got x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus, you've got 9 there. So now that I don't have a bracket, it means I need to understand the type of a math problem that I'm dealing with. Because of that, automatically, it doesn't matter if you say automatically, oxalayo. Now I know that I'm dealing with a quadratic equation. So that means I need to rewrite it in the standard form. So, okay, I want to show you guys something very much important. You can still remain with 0 on the left side and then continue with everything on this side. Why am I doing that? It's because already on the right side, this x squared, yebo.
With the third, isn't it supposed to be x minus 1?
Did I make a mistake? I think I made a mistake. You are right, honorable member. Let me see. The problem itself, yes. Thank you, honorable member. I hope you now understand why I'm calling you guys honorable members. So remember, guys, if I was writing an exam, already is wrong. So that means I was going to get a wrong already. There was no one who was going to make me aware of that mistake. So that means on your list of mistakes, you therefore need to write down to say, another common mistake is to rewrite a problem incorrectly. Very, very much important, honorable members. So now, I was saying already my x squared, it is a positive on the right side. That is why now I'm going to work out everything on the right side. I'm sure you agree. This is negative 6x already. So let me write it as that. But what I want to do now is to transport this. It crosses the border. It changes the sign. Already this one is there. So it is this negative 1 that goes to that side, and then it changes the sign. It becomes a plus. So that means you've got a 0 there. You have x squared, a negative 7x plus 10. So guys, you are allowed to rewrite this thing exactly as it is, but now with you having this on the right. How so? It's because if we say 2 is equals to x, is the same as x is equals to 2. It's like I'm saying you are Moano. Moano is you. Yes, you are Moano. Moano is you. Otherwise, if you want to take a long drive, you can still do that. Where now you say, I'm taking this to the other side, it changes a sign. I take that to the other side, it changes a sign. At the end of the day, you will need to divide by that so that it ends up being equals to that. So that means I've avoided that situation where I had to take this to the left and then it becomes negative, all of that to that, and then I still need to divide by that negative. So I just did everything on the right side. Okay, I hope you guys got that part. So now what you need to do, it is to just factorize. Where you have x, you have x, I think 5 and 2, it is the one that gives us 10. Bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. Sign of middle term, it is negative. So for you to end up having positive there, that's if you have a negative. So finally, you have your x, which is let me not take shortcuts and write it as it is and say x minus 5 is equals to 0 there. Then I can say x it's equals to positive 2 or x is equals to 5. Trust me, honorable members, you might find that one of these two answers is not a solution or it's not giving a solution. How are you going to know? You need to test them both. So that means you will need to put 2 there. You punch all of that, you check if it gives you a 2 there. And then you put 5 there, you test if when you punch all of that is going to give you 5 there. The one that fails, we crush it between those two. So let's see, if you put 2 there, it's like 2 minus 1, and then square root of 1, it is 1 plus 3, it becomes 4. It looks like this one is failing. When we put 5 there, it's 5 minus 1, which is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. You plus it with 3, it gives you 5. Yes. So that means between these two, this is the one that we crush. Or if you do not crush it, then you must state in your own ways to say not a solution. If you don't have enough ink, you can just not write not solution and then you just crush it. Yes, it's up to you what you do. Let me just check. Guys, any questions on that one, or are we okay up to this point?
No question.
No, sir.
No question, sir.
No questions. Okay. Okay. I would like to try one that I think is going to give me a challenge. Then I would like for us to participate on this one, just to simplify without using calculator. Should I do this one first or maybe let me see this one at a later stage. Yes, maybe let's see this one at a later stage, but solve for x and y simultaneously. Let's do this one where we are given x minus 2y, which is equals to -3. And again, we are given x, y, they say it is equals to 20. Guys, when they say solve simultaneously, means you need to work out for x and y at the same time. That one is 3. So we will regard this as our equation number 1. And then this one, which is xy is equals to 20. We can regard that as our equation number 2. Then we need to derive equation number 3. I think we can use equation number 1 to derive equation number 3. How do we derive equation number 3? It's like you want to make either x or y the subject of the formula. How do you choose which equation to use or which equation to manipulate? You choose the one that has a standalone variable. You see this one that has just y alone. You manipulate that one. Just to avoid manipulating this one, because now you'll end up having fractions. For example, if you make x subject of the formula, you end up having this. And when it comes to simultaneous, you try by all means to avoid having fractions. So now I'm just going to say x is equals to. I think it's best to start with 2y, then you have your -3 there. Why would I do it that way? It's just to avoid a situation where I have x and then already I have -3 and then I'm having +2y. Can you guys see? Might be tricky, not necessarily tricky, confusing, or it might encourage mistakes with you starting with a negative value there. Rather start with a
Sorry, sir, you're breaking up.
Say landing country.
So you're breaking. One at a time. Like, please mute everyone. So can you please mute
Guys, am I still breaking?
No, sir.
Try to unmute in case if okay, now it's fine. Okay. Mono co-host, and then I'm going to mute all. Do not allow them to unmute, and then I continue. Okay. So this is what I was saying, honorable members. We now have our equation number 3. Then what we can do, it is to substitute this equation number 3 into the unmanipulated equation, which is equation number 2. So that means we are going to substitute equation number 3 into the unmanipulated equation, which is equation number 2. So that means where we see x, we are going to put 2y minus that. I want to make you guys aware of something very much important. When you write mathematically, even though it looks like you should write it this way, but you shouldn't write it this way. Why? Because if you say 2 and then you have 5, for example, punch this on a calculator, it's going to give you an error. But if you punch this, it will give you a valid answer, which is going to be 10. The reason why it gives you an error is because in between you did not have a multiplication sign. So that means if you want to write it this way, you must have a multiplication sign there. So to make it easier, let's firstly have our y on this side. Then you won't need to show a times in between. So let's see, we say this is equals to 20. So now you start working that by that, that by that. You end up having a 2y squared minus 3y minus a 20 there, and then you equate that to 0. Then what we can do is to try and factorize that. Just as I'm going to need the factors. Otherwise, I might need to use that quadratic formula. Let's see. You need to factorize this fraction pattern negative b, which is negative 3 plus or minus square root of a b squared minus 4, our a being 2, our c being negative 20, then at the bottom over 2a being a true, it gives me 4. So if it gives me 4 on the calculator, inside the brackets, I write it as negative 4. And then I go back to edit the negative sign. That sign of a plus, I now want to put a delete, and then I put a minus there. It gives me a fraction being negative 5 over 2. But when I write it in there, I write it as 2y. There it's negative, then I put it as a plus here. Just so that when I work it out, it ends up taking me back to what I got on my calculator. So that means you are having your 2y plus 5, which is equals to 0, or your y minus 4 equals to 0. So obviously when you work out this one, you end up having that, you take it to the other side, and then your y ends up being that. Or your y, which is equals to positive 4. So now you need to go back and find the x value because you've calculated the y values. You do have an equation for calculating xmos. So you just say x is equals to 2 inside the brackets. You have that minus that. That will cancel with that. It's like you've got negative 8 there. Yes, not negative 7, but negative 8. Again, you do the same on this side. So that means you've got a 2y minus 3. 2, your y is 4, you minus 3. This is like 8 minus 3, I think is 5. So professionally, you can say where x it is negative 8, its corresponding y value, it is negative 5 over that. Where x it is 5, its corresponding y value, it is 4. Yes. Let me see if I've done it correctly, because me too, I can make some mistakes, honorable members. Me too, I can. Guys, do you agree with me on that one? Would you guys say I've done it correctly?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Okay. So I'm just going,
Oh, say,
yes,
big smoke, yes.
yes, yes. Maybe
When
and then unmute you, honorable member, asked to unmute. Yes, go for it. The biggest smoke.
can you go back to the slides?
Yes.
Here, let's say, now I got like different answers.
Yeah.
What I did when I supposed to factorize like you, then I didn't do that. Like I used the formula.
Mm.
Then the other one I got like 0.15, and the other one I got like negative 1.65. I don't know, maybe like if I did a mistake, but like can you use the formula also there?
Okay. It's in most cases where when you do simultaneous equations, you will never get decimal answers, honorable members. You mean when you factorize? One thing for sure, you must have made a mistake somewhere, because you should have negative. What's your B? Your B, it is -3. Then you're going to have a plus or a minus, square root of your B being -3 squared minus 4, your A is 2, your C,
No,
it is
sorry.
-20.
Oh, say, yeah, it's fine. Now I see my mistake. I forgot the negative
Yeah.
one B.
It's a big smoke,
The
honorable
thread was
member. You
supposed to
can't
be
concentrate
positive.
within a big smoke. You
Say,
can't concentrate inside a big smoke. You must update it and make it a small smoke, yeah. Not big smoke. Uyabona ukuthi ufaka inkingi.
say,
Big smoke. You need to change it from big to small smoke. You see what smoke is doing now.
but like still say these answers.
So the only problem, it must have been when you factorized. If you factorize it correctly, trust me, you will get valid answers. So somewhere, you definitely made a mistake. Okay, it's fine. Ask you again. Did I check if, okay, yes, I did. I did check and everyone said we are okay on that one. Okay, maybe for now, let's take some light stuff. This one, I will very quickly deal with it. Just to remind you guys to say, this one, you see you have a minus, then you have that. What you need to remember is that because of that sign of a minus at the top, it means you're going to take out something as common factor. The first thing you did is just to separate. You see those exponents, you write them exactly as they are. You just separate them by the basis. Just separate them, that's it. And then this is what you take out as a common factor. And this is what remains. This is what remains. So can you guys see that will definitely cancel with that one. And then at the top, you end up having a, what is it? I think it's 1/8, because 2 to the 3 is 8. And then when it's negative, it becomes 1 over that. And then that one is 6. Whole of this is being divided by that one at the bottom, trust me, is going to be 1/4. So now you need to further work it out according to how I taught you regarding simplifications of the fractions, where you can fractionalize this one by saying over 1. Then you have your LCD that multiplying with that and that and that. Maybe let me do this one just to remind you, honorable members. So that means I am going to say, maybe let me start it there. I'm going to say my LCD, you just take that 8 as it is, you take that one as it is. That is that one at the top. So that means at the top, you are having your LCD, which is 8 and 1. You just take it as it is. Then you multiply that by your LCD. That 8 will cancel with that. Then it's like 1 times 1, which is 1. And then you take that same LCD, you multiplied with that, and then it's like that one will cancel with that one. You have 6 times 8. But remember, you still have that sign. The question now is, what is 6 times 8? Let's see. 6 times 8 is 48. So that means you have 48 there. You mustn't forget that you still have your 1 over 4. Mustn't forget that one. What is that minus that? Is it not negative 47? That times that, what is that? That is 8. You remember, most mathematically, when you have divided by, you can just do that, and then you take 4 at the top and then that at the bottom. Trust me, when you work out this thing, you end up having negative 47 times 4. 47 times 4, which is that number, negative 188, that you are still going to divide it by that. So now it means that you divide it by 8, then you end up having a negative 23 point that. Yes, yes, this answer doesn't. Oh yes, as a fraction is 47 over 2. Yeah, but remember, not a positive answer, but a negative answer. Hey, yeah, this one, it has a potential to move. Let me work it out. Fraction button 1 over 8 on the side, you say minus 6 at the bottom, you've got a 1 over 4. Let's see. Let's see. Angishayile. Angishayile. Futhi kakhulu ngabi. Ngishayile, honorable members. Guys, did you see what I've done?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Evan, Ali's there. Where is Evan? Lesego is there. Let's speak with Lesego on a mute on and then do not just says Lesego. No le guy man. Go le guy Lesego. Evan. Where's Lesego now? Lesego, where were you? Where were you? Ichima. Okay. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Manje yaqhubeka. We'll just look for another question, honorable members. I've got one that we can also try to deal with decisively. Here, they want you to solve for x. For x. Type of problems, honorable members, are the ones that should actually not take you to the export. Okay, that it is that this is 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2. Okay. With this type of problems, honorable members, try to remove everything that is attached to x. So what I'm saying is, honorable members, you can do it in many ways. You can take this to the other side, but I can still choose to take this negative 16 and write it as 16 to the that. It doesn't matter what you take to the other side. Remember, I said you need to try and remove anything attached to that so that this cancels with that. And then you remain with x to the that. What is this? This is, I think it's 1/8. So now you want to remove that exponent of -3/2. So you multiply by -2/3. Remember, whatever that you do on the right, you do also on the left by -2/3. Why did you do that? So that that cancels with that cancels with that cancels with that. And then you've got your x, which is equals to the whole of this. You can multiply that on your calculator and give, but otherwise, as a mathematician, you need to work it out and say this thing is the same as a to the exponent -1, where you are having your -2/that. That negative cancels with that. Trust me, honorable members, 8 is the same as 2 to the exponent 3. Remember, you are multiplying this thing by that. You mustn't forget that that is equals to 0. I'm not sure if you guys can see that that cancels with that. As it cancels, it means you now remain with that. Finally, that is equals to that. And then we end up saying x is equals to 4. Bese uqedile. That's how you score yourself 3 marks on that question. Honorable members or members who are honorable. Can you guys see how mathematics, how nice it is, honorable members? Let me just check. Do you guys agree with me on that one? Or do you guys think I made a mistake somewhere? Let's see. Guys?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
what's the question?
Okay, go for it.
What is the question you just asked right now?
Is this Tauya Tswala? What's
No,
the
sir.
question?
I didn't what you just say right now.
Wait, what's the question?
I didn't hear what you said, sir. Can you repeat?
Oh, okay, no, I see. I hear what you were. Guys, is it everyone who was not able to hear me?
No, sir.
Guys, is it everyone who was not able to hear me?
No, sir.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, for the sake of time, Tau, yeah, Tswala, the lion which is giving birth. Ke re ha, e re ho. This lesson is being recorded, honorable member. Let's see what time it is now. Okay, no, it's fine. So you will have to catch up, honorable member. The reason why I'm saying this is just so that I cover as much problems as possible. But trust me, honorable member, you will be able to catch it up and you will fully understand it. Otherwise, if not, if you try to catch it up and you are still not able to hear me on this one, tomorrow, let me know and then I'm going to start with it. The reason why I'm avoiding to redo it is because I know if I explain it, the honorable member is going to understand it. And we have done it before he was there, so he won't have an issue with understanding that one. So, don't worry, honorable member, that one you're going to more it. But let me check. Guys, are we still okay? Can you hear me? Why is it like something is not on?
Yeah.
I'm not confident.
It's fine now, sir.
Everything's good.
Okay.
Hey, sir.
But wait, the lion which is giving birth, where were you, honorable member? Pe ke kgale re o nyaka monna re o rapeleja re re, re re, ha, e re ho. Where were you? Hmm? Yeah, I think there's something wrong with it's either the mic or yeah, something there is wrong, but we'll sort it out and he's going to tell us where he was. Yeah, I'm running out of pages, Mos. Someone is wondering, Uguti, when are we finishing? We don't finish, honorable members. We don't finish. This lesson is going to be on until next year, honorable members. Can you see how many pages I'm adding there? So there's no time to sleep in mathematics. If your parents said it's going to be an hour lesson, yeah, just know that they were just trying to say the minimum is 1 hour until God knows when. Okay, so now, just as I'm tempted to try this one, which I said it could be tricky. I'm here sitting and wondering if I should. Okay, it's fine. Let's give it a try, honorable member. Even if we might not do it until the end, let me do it up to a stage where I think you guys can be able to take it further. Let's see. If you are given something similar to that, and then you have 2 there, you have square root of x there. Yes, you are given this, and they say work it out. If you do it correctly, we are going to give you 4 marks. So the question now is, where do you start? You just need to remember that in this case, honorable members, you already have the square root being isolated. All that you need to do is to remove the square root. How do you remove? So that means you will need to introduce a square root, a squared on both sides. A square there, also here, you square that. And then that's how you would have removed why am I still writing it? That's how you would have removed the square root on this side. And then this side, this is where I was saying you have that multiplying that and also that. So that means you end up having 2 squared multiplying x, because this squared removed that square root. So now you end up having a that minus that, which is equals to that to the that, it's 4x. Then you end up having that, you minus that, and then that, and then that. Just says it looks like very quickly you can work it out. You have, maybe we can say 5 and 1, bigger number, middle term, and then that. Then you have that, which is equals to obviously negative that, or that equals to. Then you will need to check between these 2 values, which one is valid. The one which is not valid, you are going to cross it. Or if you've got enough ink, you won't cross the equal sign, but you can just say it's not a solution. I'm not sure if you guys understood me on that one, honorable members, because these are the types of problems that you need to make sure that you deal with decisively. Asemahle Bastile. Are we still together, honorable member? Bastile.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Even there is Kendra Isaki. Leah Tracy is there. Just says, I like that name, Leah Tracy. Or Leah Tracy. How do I say it? Is it Leah Tracy or Leah Tracy?
It's Leah Tracy.
Okay. Leah Tracy. Big Smoke, that one I'm used to. Big Smoke. Evan, hey, Mulete, what's happening there, Kama Melody, honorable member? Where is 3 Spies? What's the guy? I don't see 3 Spies. Oh, there's 3 Spies. Okay. Evan, 3 Spies. Na kere o ile o tsoša tente somewhere. No, ke a mmona ro teng. Where is Alice? Nova 9, Sandy, Siyamthanda Veli Vino. Just says Vino rata khona. Vino rata khona. Always Vino go khone. Vino, what's happening there? Always in the corner there.
Sir?
Orata khona ne?
No, sir, it's just that my name is always like last.
Orata ukhut. Orata ukhut. Apolo isu phela lo go khone. Ke re ke a wanyaka go kry.
Yes.
Bojan is there. Daisy Mkwana, Evan, Christian. Where is let's see. That one is not here today. Okay, then it's fine. Guys, let's do few more bases qetile. Let's do few more bases qetile. I'm just trying to check those difficult ones. Those difficult, no, that one is easy. Maybe let's conclude with this one. Maybe let's conclude with this one, and then from there we are done. This one where they are saying you have 4 to the exponent. So there are many of them that we could have done, but our selective honorable members, I wanted something that when I try work it out, it was going to give me some challenge, or otherwise I think you might have something to learn. So let's see, with this one, honorable members, the moment you realize you might be dealing with exponents, how do you know if you must apply the laws of exponents? That's if your unknown is in the position of the exponents. So for example, you see that 4, you can rewrite it as 2 to the exponent 2. You have that, plus 8, which is equals to 9 multiplying 2 to the exponent that. Airborne. And then, obviously, you know, the law says that multiplies that. So it's like you have 2 to the exponent 2x plus 8, which is equals to 9 multiplying 2 to the exponent x. This is where now, you might need to remember of something. They normally refer to this as the k squared. I don't know why k. Maybe it's because the person who derived this question was, yeah, maybe you might find that it was Guayman. You might find that it was Guayman who derived this thing of that. And then he referred to this thing as, what is it, where you can use the K method. Why K? Because his name was Guayman. But because my name starts with a letter D, I am therefore going to say D method. Yeah. So if your name is yeah, you just decide what is the first letter of that name. So I want you guys to be aware of something. You see, this thing is the same as 2 to the exponent x you can say plus x. Then you still have that plus 8, what is equals to that. Or otherwise, you can still say this thing is the same as 2 to the x multiplied by 2 to the x plus 8 equals to 9, 2 to the that. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of how this thing can be rewritten. It can be rewritten in these 2 ways. But in a situation where now you need to use the Gereha method, then you might need to write it this way. So then continue with rewriting it. So that means this is the same as 2 to the exponent x times 2 to the exponent x. Because you know, most same basis you add the exponents. X plus x is 2x. So it takes you back to that. So you still have your plus 8 there, and then that. So in short, I am saying where now you see 2 to the exponent x, you put d. So it's like you have d times d plus 8, which is equals to 9 d. Because everywhere you see 2 to the exponent x, you equate that to d. So Kwaimani would have equated that to k because his first letter starts with k. What is d times d? That is d squared. Why can't I take this to the other side and make it that? I already have that. Then I equate it to 0. Then you factorize. So that means I have d, I can say I've got 8 and 1, where bigger number takes the side of the middle term, and then for us to have positive 8, that's if you have negative 1 there. So that would mean d minus 1 equals to 0, or d minus 8 equals to 0. So d equals to 1, or d equals to 8. Yes. So remember your d, it was 2 to the exponent x equals to 1. Egedeng, 2 to the exponent that. We know most 1 can be written as that most. That same base to the 0, because we know to the 0. So that means same basis, and then you equate the exponent, something of this nature. Let's see this one. So that means here you still have that being your d to the that, and then you have that to the that, which is equal. This thing I think is 2 to the 3. Same basis, then that means you equate the x, something of this nature, honorable members. I'm just not so sure if you guys understand what I'm trying to explain there. Remember, guys, this is supposed to be an easy lesson, just so that we enter this new week. Ngevo sho. Singena ngevo sho. Honorable members, do you agree with me on that one? I'm not sure if you
Yes.
agree or disagree.
We agree, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We understand, sir.
Mhm. Me, I think I'm done, honorable members. Me, I think I'm done. Me, I think I'm done. And I think it is that time where I need to run away, honorable members. I'm going to run away and no one can chase me. Moano,
Yes,
can
sir.
you sign out so that I can do likewise, honorable member?
Okay, sir. Bye, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, mine starts with letter D, and guess what?
Bye, sir. See you.
Ere, ah, ere, oh.
Oh, this last bottle.